Hello students, let us learn about event handling in Java. Event handling in Java is based on event delegation model, which is consisting of three parts: event, event source, event listener or event handler. Now what do you mean by event? Event means change in the state of object. For example, in Java, we have created graphical user interface with different components, tools or controls like label, button, text field, text area, checkbox, radio button, drop down list or scrolling list. Now, whenever we talk about component, there are states of component. For example, if I have created a push button with button class in AWT package, so at initial stage the button will be in off state. When you click on button, the state of the button changes from off to on or on to off. Or suppose you have created a checkbox, a square and label associated with it. The initial state might be unchecked, that is false. If you select a checkbox, there will be change in the state of checkbox. It will be from selected to deselected or deselected to selected, true to false or false to true. So that is known as a event. Now, which are the event sources? The component which are generating event are known as a event source. These are the classes. Now we cannot say label is event source because label is a passive component. There is no state of label. It is used for display purpose only. So label does not generate any event. Now the component which are generating event are having a specific name for that event, and for every source, event source, there is a respective event listener or event handler. These are the interfaces. We know the difference between class and interface. In interface, there are only method declaration, no definition of methods. So now see this picture. Event source are the classes that generates an event when there is a change in the state of object or component. For example, button control, its state may be from on to off or off to on. When we click on button, its state changes and that time event will be generated, and that event is known as a action event. Now for handling this action event, there are listeners in AWT event package, and that listener or handler is known as a action listener. Now after the event has been generated, what task we want to perform, that code we have to write in a specific method of this listener or this interface. Now for example, as the button control generates action event, for handling action event we have action listener interface, and in action listener interface we have method public void action performed which will handle that event. It means after clicking on button, whatever task you want to perform, that code you should write under this action performed method, and this action performed method is of action listener interface. So we have to implement this interface. Now the component which are generating event and the listener which are handling the events both have to register to each other for handling the event. It means we have to register the event source with the event listener. This is how the event delegation model works. Okay, let us see an example. If I want to design an applet with 3 labels, number 1, number 2 and result, and 3 text boxes and 1 button control. When I run this applet and when I enter the numbers in first text box and in second text box, and after clicking on button component, add button, I want to display the sum of both the numbers which are entered in text box 1 and text box 2. I have to show the result in third text box. So when I run this applet and when I enter the numbers in this 2 text boxes, and when I click on add button, the result of sum of above 2 number should be displayed in third text box. So in this case, when you want to display the output after clicking on button, so which is the event source in this program? Button control. So we know the event name which is generated by button. The event which is generated by button is action event, and for that we have action listener interface. We have to implement it and we have to register the button with the action listener, and the code of this addition of 2 numbers we have to write under this action performed method of action listener interface. Now let us see the implementation of this program, how we can handle this event of button. Now import the packages that we need for designing this applet. Import java.awt.star. We have to include one more package. Import java.awt.event.star for handling the events. Then we have to include the package import java.applet.star for lifecycle method of applet. How we write applet? By writing public class name to this applet. Suppose add extends applet, and in this program which is the event source button. So for handling action event, which interface we know? Action listener. So we have to implement that interface by writing implements action listener, opening curly bracket. Now the program pattern is import the package, write the class extends applet, implements the name of your listener. Now declare the components. Whatever you want to design, declare the components. Now I need 3 labels. So I will declare 3 label. Label L1, L2, L3. Just declare it. What more we need? We need 3 text boxes. So we create a text box in AWT by text field class T1, T2, T3. And what we need? Button B semicolon. So just declare the object. Now the designing part we have to do in init method. Now creation of component, manipulation of method, implementation of method, all code goes to init method. Now we have to design these labels, text box and button, and we have to add this component on applet window. So L1 label, you can create new label, and in bracket you can give the text which you want to display on the first label. So label 1 will be created. L2 is equal to new label. Second label we are creating by typing text on it as number 2. Now third label we are creating by L3 is equal to new label, in bracket what text we are showing, result of sum, you can say, correct. This text you want to display. Now the three labels are created. Now the three labels are created. Moving forward, create the empty text boxes. So I am creating 3 text boxes which I have already declared in above the init method. So text field is created T1, T2 and T3. So we are writing here T2 and T3. 3 text boxes are created. And what we need, B is equal to new button. On caption, what we need to display, add. This is the caption of button. Now we have just created the components. Now we have to add this component on the applet window. We are adding component on applet window by add method. L1, in front of that what we need, T1. Same way we have to add rest of the 2, L2 and L3. So I am adding here L2, T2, L3 and T3. After that we are adding B button. Now in this program, when I want to display the output, after clicking on B button. Now this B is your event source, and we know that button generates action event. For handling that we have register with the action. So we have implemented the action listener interface, but we have to register this B button with this action listener interface, and that is done by writing B dot add action listener, in bracket this. This refers to the current state. Now complete the method init, and here we have to write the method of action listener, that is public void action performed, in bracket action event E, opening curly bracket. Now this action performed is a method of action listener interface. What we should write in this action performed method? We have to write whatever task we want to perform after clicking on B button under this action performed method. So what I need to do, after clicking on this add button, I have to read the text from text box 1, and I have to read the text from text box 2 and perform the addition. So we know there are methods of text box class which are used to read the text from the text box. So, and the text box returns the text in string. So we have to convert that string into number. So So I am combining two lines in a single line like this. What I have to do? I have to retrieve from text box 1. So name of the text box 1 is T1. Which method is used to retrieve text from the text field? That is get text method. This method gives you the text which is in string format. But for addition purpose we need to convert this text into integer, and that we do by writing wrapper class, and wrapper class is integer dot parse int. So we are converting this t1 dot get text which is string into integer, and we have to receive this result in one of the integer variable. Same task we have to do for number 2. From where we will get the number 2? Number 2 we will get from second text box. So we have to retrieve the text from second text box and convert it into integer and store in n2 variable. Now we can perform the addition like n1 plus n2 and store the result in s variable. Now where I have to display this answer? In third text box t3 dot. Which method is used to store text or assign text in the text box? That is set text method, and in bracket we have to give the string, but here we have the answer in integer format, so we have to convert this s into string and we have to store that in t3 text box. So s dot to string. So we are converting this s into string and we are storing that into the third text box. So how we can convert this s answer of integer format into string? By using wrapper class method to string method. So we can write that like this. So we have to assign the text in third text box. So we are doing it by writing t3 dot set text, and we have to convert this integer value to string by using this wrapper class and its method. We are converting this s integer value into string and storing that into third text box. Complete the action perform method, complete the applet class, and in comment we have to write the applet code. The name of file .java width and height attribute. Save this file as add.java in your JDK bin folder. Go to the command prompt, compile the code by writing as compilation stage. The compilation stage is javac add.java. Compile the program. Now run the program by using applet viewer add.java. The applet viewer window will be displayed with label 1 text box 1, label 2 text box 2, label 3 text box 3, and add button. Now initially no output is shown, no event is generated. When I enter text in text box 1, when I enter text in text box 2, and when I click on add button, once you click on add button, action event will be generated and the object of action event will be thrown by JVM, Java Virtual Machine, and the program control will search for the method which will catch the object of action event class, and that is catched by action performed method. So when we click on add button, action event will be generated and the object will be thrown and it will be cached in action performed method, and it will be executing the code written in this method. The number from text box 1 will be taken by this t1.getText, but this 2 will be in string format. It will be converted into integer and it will be taken in n1. Text from second text box will be taken, which is string, and it will be converted into integer. It will be in n2. It will perform the addition and the answer will be displayed in third text box. So when I click on add button, the following 4 lines will be executed and finally we will get the sum in the third text box. So this is how the action event of button component will be handled by implementing the action listener interface and writing the code in action performed. Thank you.